Now from Larry to Presence, because this movie I really want to dig in because I know, Adam, you already saw Presence before, right?
We were there opening weekend, I think. Yeah, I got 2 Soderberghs in theater in a year. Oh,
yeah.
And it was my first time seeing it. And obviously, Tatiana, you saw it today. I actually saw it last night.
Nice.
And I was trying to find it like for free, but I noticed you couldn't, so I did purchase it on Amazon. And it's certainly worth it. Yeah. And what I like is that it's not a traditional haunted house film, but there's a lot of supernatural. I was almost hesitant to call it horror. I just want to see what everybody else thinks.
Oh, that's interesting.
Bigger discussion.
Yeah.
I know.
Is it horror? I'm gonna let you.
Personally, I think it lives in the genre, right? It contains supernatural elements. They're a major force of the plot. They're the catalyst for the drama that occurs. The resolution hinges on the supernatural forces. But I think one of the things that I really liked about this film, and I know it was kind of divisive from some of the critics that I normally listen to, it was as much a family drama as anything else. But I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
Yes.
And again, to go back to the way that these two films sort of ended up speaking to each other, they're both dependent on POV. They're both exploring POV. They're both exploring what it means to not have all of the information. This is a film about what, even if you removed the ghost, this is just a film about what it means to live, to share the same space with someone, even someone that you have known your entire life, and to not have any idea who that person is, because everybody is insular and has internal lives that they don't express. And I think the film, as a family drama, certainly explores that. And I think the way that it uses the convention of the ghost to further sort of expound on that theme.
It's the fear of being forgotten or ignored, and I can feel it. It's here in the house.
To illuminate that theme, I thought was incredible. I really like this film.
Yeah, I thought it was incredible.
It's a solid film. Would anybody like to just give us a quick synopsis for the audience on the film?
I'm bad at synopses.
So a family moves into a house, a new house that they just bought, and there's a teenage daughter, and just at the beginning they set it up that something recently happened. Her friend unalived herself, and everybody's really upset. Or no, she didn't unalive herself. Sorry, she took drugs and she overdosed. Yeah. And then later we found out there were like 2 girls with this happen to, and they were her friends. And so she's not over it. And then the son is like an athlete or something, right? Like a star. And the mom has like a really unhealthy relationship where she like is obsessed with the son and doesn't really care about the daughter. And then the dad is like trying to support the daughter through like everything she's going through since her friend passed away. And there's this boy that comes over. And it's just like the family dynamic. So it's basically a family falling apart while they've moved into this new house. They're trying to put everything back together. And then there is a presence in the house, which again, because the teenage girl is very vulnerable, she specifically feels, and it seems to kind of be like connecting with her, and they're not sure why. And at first everyone just thinks she's crazy and overdramatic and depressed, and it builds from there.
It's beautifully haunting. And I don't say that about horror, but there's a beauty to it, and just the opening scene, where it almost reminded me, because we do talk, and I think we all have a love of found footage, but it was a point of view found footage horror that goes through the span of a new house. So a new beginning, and it comes full circle at the end, without giving anything away. But you're getting a point of view from the spirit, and I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, what did everybody think about the spirit? Because we tend to think, oh, spirits, there's something demonic, especially when we did the exorcism movies. We always think of it as being a negative.
Even in 825 Forest Road, it's...
Yes, but this flips the script. And I appreciate it, but it still was creepy and scary, because there was one moment where the spirit is observing the family. They're all going through their own personal struggles. Lucy Liu's character, we don't find out too much, but we know she's in the business world and something's not kosher. Her husband is the mild-mannered, okay, honey, let's just buy the house if you're happy and everyone's happy. He doesn't like to make waves, but he's a lawyer and he knows his wife's doing something. And then you have the son who's the swimmer. He's more like the athlete. He's only thinking of the now and having a good time and being popular. And then there's Chloe, who's the daughter, who is a sensitive soul, and she had 2 friends that were lost too soon, and she seems to have a connection with this spirit that's roaming around. The spirit is watching over her, and but the spirit is also temperamental too, because there's
Right.
moments where the spirit sees things that it doesn't like and will react to it. And that's why I say that there's something beautifully haunting, and it's not scary, because I wasn't scared of the spirit. I was so interested in being along with it in its journey through the camera work. Would anybody like to talk about that? The camera work, the cinematography, was that moving to anyone else?
Yeah, very. I think I was always trying to understand, based on the camera work, how the spirit felt about something. And it took me a long time to like...
It's an interesting point. I mean, that's the only way that you have to understand what perhaps is going through the
That's
spirit's
so true.
head is the movement.
Yeah, so I think I was sort of watching constantly for any indication about how it felt, which is interesting. I don't know that I've felt that way or had to do that in any other movie. I haven't. Maybe have you?
Not off the top of my head. I didn't think about the way that movement specifically. I mean, I spent so much time. I think the way that I categorized it in my head is POV, right? And I'm trying to experience what this thing.
But it would speed up.
It's the movement. It's specifically the movement that you're interpreting.
The movement.
That's interesting. I had trouble. I mean, knowing Soderbergh was operating a camera, and I did spend some of the film just being like, picturing him walking around in softly padded shoes, like carrying a camera, like creeping up behind people. Yeah, I did. But then I settled in and really enjoyed
doing
it.
Fellini-esque,
You know, just creeping past the coffee table. You know, that's really interesting. I mean, the movement of the camera is a language unto itself, I think, in the film, which is really fascinating.
And I think sometimes, I don't know if anyone got ahead of it, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I did not get ahead of it, of the final reveal.
A good question.
I did not.
No,
You
I was
did.
so surprised.
I was shocked.
So this
I
is
was
what,
where the movie wanted me to be. So.
Sorry, you go ahead.
No.
This is what I liked about the movie. I was thinking about this because I was like still processing it while I was coming here because I had just seen it. And I think I was really surprised because I expected a haunted house movie with a scary spirit. And the very first time I remember seeing the spirit is when it was closing Chloe's textbooks and putting them on the desk. And I was like, oh, something creepy is going to happen. And retrospectively, the spirit was always looking out for her. So that was helping her. And actually, the scary thing in the movie wasn't the spirit. The spirit was like, for me, like a safety. Like, yes, go, like, do your thing. Like, you want the spirit to come out and do its work.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, for sure. It's when I can't remember if we talked about this before, but like it's one of the hard parts about, I find, always like writing. If you're writing a movie with a ghost as the antagonist, right? It's like, ultimately, do we buy the notion that a ghost can hurt you? So you're always looking for some way to make a tangible antagonist that can actually cause harm to the protagonists. And I've done in a script sort of very similar to what this one does, is sort of sub out, not to get ahead of the film necessarily, but or to spoil the film necessarily, but have a more physical antagonist sort of come into the film toward the third act to sort of present that force. I've run into that.
I wasn't prepared for that antagonist. Like, I didn't expect any of that really until they started setting it up. I was like, oh, this is not where I saw this going.
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't either.
Was that unsatisfying? Some of the critics that I listened to, I know, were a bit unsatisfied by.
Really?
I think perhaps, if not the choice, then the degree of villainy to which it was presented.
What I like about a horror film is that if it leaves you feeling haunted, or like you're saying, oh my God, that you're still left with this this feeling and thinking about the characters, especially one particular character that I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. It's haunting. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to say it. As far as the acting, any thoughts on the acting?
I thought it was pretty great across the board. Not to mimic myself, say the same thing, but what did you think?
My favorite scene was, so first of all, I loved the mirror, and I loved that quote, like, old mirrors, they're so much more interesting because they've seen so much. I never thought about an old mirror that way.
Yeah.
But I love the last, like, towards the end when Lucy Liu looks in the mirror and then, like, breaks down.
Amazing.
And I don't want to give away too much, but I thought that scene was so powerful.
I agree.
Yes.
I think you could do that really, that
That's
could
a
become
hard-
melodrama
yeah.
quickly. Or could it? I don't know, given the Could it become melodrama? I think it could only become melodrama if it were acted poorly. I mean, basically, I'm saying everything else was set up to make that a great.
Yeah,
The cinematography, you know, the writing. So yeah, I think that speaks to.
But she must have like emotionally gone there because it was
Absolutely.
very. I mean, it was so well done.
I believed it, and I felt so bad. I felt awful. I think when you were saying you were left with it was haunting. It was also just like a deep sadness. I was left with like a deep sadness, which goes back to your question of like, is it horror? I mostly felt very sad at the end, but throughout I was definitely freaked out.
I mean, a home symbolizes safety and family.
That's so true.
And I would imagine anything that's supernatural takes away from that.
I think that's why haunted house films work very well, right? Is because we spend all of our time in our homes. It's easy to relate to. Like you said, it's the place that we go for safety, for comfort, to be alone, to be intimate, to not have anyone. And then so to have that space be
Unsafe.
yeah, absolutely makes you feel instantly helpless and frightened. And it's interesting because I think I spent a lot of the time feeling that same sense of helplessness for the entity that I was in the POV of, because it felt like it didn't you got the sense that it was as lost as everyone else was. So you did feel that helplessness still. That I think that you normally see in the regular protagonist of a haunted house film, where they don't know what's haunting them and they don't know how to combat it. They don't. I think it's an Irish notion, like the fetch, the ghost that you see ahead of the tragedy.
Oh yeah.
Is a classic form of the ghost in other cultures, which I just thought was really, to me, it just felt like rooted in older folklore. And I heard some people bump on what they felt like was a plot contrivance.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But worked for me
Worked
without
for me.
saying too much.
Yeah.
Maybe I've already said too much.
I think it's so relatable too because there are so many creepy old homes, and
So
I think
true.
a lot of people have been in like a creaky home, and there's all these weird noises, and you're like, what is going on? Like everybody has
We've all
probably
been
had
there.
that moment. Yeah.
If you live in, and then if you live in like the city in an apartment, and like you just hear like chains dragging across the ceiling, and like you're screaming, you're like,
it's fine.
neighbors. There's like no
true.
apartments can be haunted. It's funny. There's a book that I really
No
like.
apartments can be haunted.
No apartments can be haunted because it's just like the old man.
Hey, there's that movie Ghost.
That's true.
true.
That's
Yeah.
true. Those are little- but I'm going to mispronounce her name. I never know how to pronounce this author's name. Anne River Siddons
Oh, I don't know.
wrote a haunted house story called The House Next Door that really plays with the trope in a great way, because it is a haunted house that was just built and no one has lived in,
I love
and it is
that.
haunted from the start. And it really just has a lot of fun with that idea and like flipping tropes on its head,
That is,
yeah.
I'd love to read that.
because it's always the old house, right?
So, friends, what do you think? Are you sold on haunted house films? Is there a haunted house film that we should have reviewed? Is there one that you really like? Hey, what's your top 3? Please leave your comments down below. Please like and subscribe. And as always, thank you for coming down the rabbit hole with us.